Yo, guys, what's up with the week one college football season finally approaching this Saturday? We have huge games, and I'm so excited. Cannot wait. So instead of waiting to my normal video Friday night, which we're still going to end up posting with all of the games for all of my favorite player props for every game this weekend, right now we're going to do a video here for the early picks and predictions for the Ohio State and Texas game since it's such a big game. Just couldn't wait. So we're going to talk all about that game early, favorite player props, picks, predictions, all of that. We're going to get into it in 1 second. First, before we do, please, like always, make sure to drop a like on this video. It helps me out so much. I'd really appreciate it. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel either. I post every single day on this channel for free player props for you guys, helping you try to make as much money as we all humanly can. So make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the future videos. Before we get into the plays, really quickly, I want to let you guys know we did kill it last year here on this channel and in the VIP in college football. Absolutely killed it. These are just some of the plays we cashed in some of the weeks. So right here, this is for you guys. These links are all down below for you. If you sign up on the Sleeper app or the Parlay Play app using promo code GHOST, they will both give you a $100 deposit match, and then Sleeper will give you a free 0.5 square right here. So if you live in any one of these white states on this map, that means you could download the Sleeper and Parlay Play apps. And again, guys, I'd highly recommend it. This is literally how I made my first couple thousands of dollars sports betting, specifically for college football as well. I signed up on every app I possibly could, kept getting deposit matches and used it and just kept racking up money on money on money because these deposit matches are literally a cheat code. I promise you guys, if you want to make some money, you need to get these deposit matches. So again, all you have to do, download Sleeper or Parlay Play. Right when you download, it'll ask you if you have a promo code. Type in code GHOST before you deposit. As long as you make sure you have promo code GHOST locked in before you deposit, they will give you a $100 deposit match on both apps. So that could be up to $200 for you guys to bet on this week one matchup between Ohio State and Texas and all the other games as well. If you want a free month of VIP, by the way, where you get text messages sent directly to your phone, just extra free slips for you guys. When you use code GHOST, I will give you a free month of VIP. So you'll get even more plays texted directly to your phone by using code GHOST on those apps. So again, free money, free squares, free VIP, highly recommended. All links are down below. Just make sure to use promo code GHOST. With that being said, let's hop into the game. We're going to go through this one by one on each stat and just literally talk about what I think is going to happen throughout all of these. And I'm going to tell you, just because it's so early in the week, kind of what I'm liking so far, what kind of plays I'm staying away from, but we're going to go through it right here. So first, obviously, talking about the quarterbacks here, we got Julian Sain for Ohio State and then Arch Manning, obviously, for Texas. So with these two quarterbacks, a lot of people have been talking about Julian Sain. We haven't seen what he can do. Obviously, Arch Manning, we haven't seen what he's done either. Now, he has started, I want to say, 2 or 3 games in his career, but they didn't really matter. The only kind of bigger game that he started was against Mississippi State, but let's be honest, Mississippi State is trash, so it doesn't really count in my eyes. He played 1 snap against Ohio State last year. I think it was just a QB sneak for like 6 yards or something like that. So neither of these quarterbacks are proven in any aspect. Obviously, Arch Manning has huge expectations, and I do believe he has a massive high ceiling. He could win the Heisman this year. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be a bust, but is he going to come out in week 1 and go off? I don't necessarily think so either. So when you look at these passing yards for both of them, they're right around like 235-ish. I honestly, if I had to choose, if I literally didn't have a decision I just had to choose between these guys going over under, I would probably actually take over on both of them. Now, I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but the only reason I'm going over on both of them, you have Julian Sain in Ohio State. They should be passing the ball a decent amount. Their running backs all gone. Henderson gone. Judkins gone. So they do have some good running backs still, and we'll get into that more in a second. But passing-wise, they should have to pass. And both of these defensive passing-wise, pretty solid. I mean, obviously it's like number 1 and number 3 best teams in the country. So obviously their defenses are good. But Arch Manning for Texas and Julian Sain for Ohio State, I just think they're both going to have to pass the ball. I think they're both going to have a lot of passing attempts. So honestly, passing attempts, taking the over on that probably might even be a better play than taking their passing yards just because we don't know what's going to happen from them. But personally, when you look at Julian Sain for his passing yards at 232, with how many good receivers, and again, we'll talk about that more in a second, he has, if you had to choose over under, you just have to take the over because he could just dump off. And his receivers are so good, they could take it to the house every single time. And then Arch Manning, obviously, he's just such a good quarterback. And he had, again, not a lot of starts last season, but the couple games he started, I mean, the guy would go out, complete 15 passes, and go for 300 yards. So Arch Manning, Julian Sand, with just how talented they are and how talented the rosters are. If you had to choose, I'd go over, but personally, I'm probably going to stay away from it. Now, if you look at the rushing yards for them, I don't like any of the rushing yards. I'm not taking any of the rushing yards for either team. I don't know how they're going to run the ball. Ohio State's D-line, we don't know what they're going to look like yet. Texas's O-line isn't looking that solid either. Texas's defense, very good. So both of these guys, both of these teams running the ball wise don't have a great matchup. They're both going to go into this game trying to start with the run, and I just don't think it's going to work for either team. So I'm completely staying away. I'm not taking the over. I'm not taking the under. I am not touching running backs in this game whatsoever. Touchdowns, I'm not touching. I don't really like touchdowns. Passing touchdowns are both at 1.5. Again, something I'm staying away from personally. If you want to take the over, that's fine. I probably wouldn't take the under. They're just so, inconsistent. We don't know what's going to happen. It's all a question mark. And honestly, the one thing no one's really talking about in this game is Ohio State has a new offensive coordinator. Chip Kelly was a massive reason why they won the championship last year. He's gone now, so they don't have Chip Kelly anymore. That is a massive, massive difference that not a lot of people, and not enough people in my eyes, are talking about. So with Chip Kelly gone, I don't love taking passing touchdowns for Julian Sane either. Going to receiving yards, though, this is where I think we can make a lot of money because it's early in the year. A lot of these guys are unproven in some aspects, and so their lines are just too low. The first guy I want to point out for you guys is Ryan Wingo, 52.5 receiving yards. Ryan Wingo is literally the number one player in the country that not enough people are talking about. There's a lot of people out there saying that if Jeremiah Smith wasn't as good as he is, and you don't have guys like Ryan Williams, Ryan Wingo is heavily going under the radar. He literally could easily be a top 5 wide receiver in the country this year, and no one is talking about him. And honestly, aside of Ryan Wingo, Texas doesn't have that many good pieces and that many good playmakers on the outside. I mean, you got DeAndre Moore, who's okay. You got Wisner from the backfield, who's all right. Jack Endries is a good transfer tight end for them. But Ryan Wingo is really their only huge playmaker. So 52.5 receiving yards. I'm taking the over for Ryan Wingo. He's one of those guys that could get this in one play. Honestly, he could get it in 2 plays, and that wouldn't even be that crazy. He did it a lot last season as the wide receiver 3. So now that he's the main guy, wide receiver 1 with Arch Manning in the pocket, I like Ryan Wingo over 52.5 receiving yards. I'm going to be taking him a lot this year. And again, one of those guys by the end of the year, his normal line is probably going to be 75 or 80 yards a game. So 52.5 receiving yards for Ryan Wingo. I like that a lot. The next thing we got going here for receiving yards is Brandon Inniss. This guy is taking over for Emeka Egbuka. Now that he's gone, he is the new slot receiver. So 23.5 receiving yards for a guy that they absolutely love right now, and he's filling in for Egbuka. I love to see him at 23.5 receiving yards. That seems stupidly low for him. So definitely taking the over on Brandon Inniss, another guy that by the end of the year, his normal line's probably going to be 35, 40 receiving yards a game. So 23.5 receiving yards. I like to take the over right there. And then you got Max Clare. This is their, transfer tight end from Purdue, the best transfer in the entire country at the tight end position. 39.5 receiving yards does seem a little high just because we don't know what he's going to do. I actually like taking his Goblin. I think he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be super consistent for them. So if you want to take a Goblin at like a 19.5, I don't hate that at all. I actually like that a lot. But at 39.5, I'm not in love with it, but he is a stud. So you never know, the guy could go off for 70 yards, and I would not be shocked whatsoever. The only other play that I'm really liking in this game, so again, obviously you could take these guys for receptions and stuff like that if you want. I just like taking the receiving yards instead. Pass attempts, good for over on both of them if you guys want to do that. But the only other thing I really want to, highlight here in this game is the kicking. So both of these teams, this should actually be a pretty low scoring game. I do think there's going to be a decent amount of yards back and forth. I don't think either of these teams are going to get in the end zone too much. So I actually don't hate it if you take both of these kickers over 6.5 kicking points. 6.5 kicking points is basically 1.5 field goals, because at the end of the day, both these teams are obviously scoring touchdowns. So that right there lowers it to 6 kicking points. And then you just need 2 field goals, right? So 2 field goals and then, a couple extra points, whatever. I don't hate that at all. I think that's pretty solid. And in a game like this, should be low scoring. A lot of people are saying that there's going to be a lot of field goals in this game, and I completely agree. The last time these teams played in the Horseshoe at Ohio State, there was 8 field goals kicked, which is insane. Obviously, that was back in like 2005 or 2006, so it doesn't really hold up that much weight at all. But it's kind of a cool, interesting fact anyway. But on top of this, I just don't think with the new offensive coordinator for Ohio State, they're going to have trouble in the red zone. For Texas, with not a great O-line right now, pretty banged up. They got a couple of dudes injured. I don't think they're going to be great in the red zone either. At the end of the day, when you can't run the ball on offense, you're not going to be able to get in the end zone consistently. And so with teams like this, where I think they can move the ball pretty well, but they'll have trouble in the red zone, I like the over on both these guys' kicking points. If I have to take one, I'm just going to take Jaden Fielding, just because I think the OC changeup for Ohio State's really going to cause problems in the red zone. But I do like him over 6.5 kicking points. Again, I like both of these kickers over. If you want to take either one of them, split it up in a couple two-mans. I don't hate that at all. But if I have to take one, I'm taking Jaden Fielding. So right now, just early look at the game. These are some of the guys I'm liking. You don't even have to necessarily take these exact player props, but just think about these guys in general when you're actually locking in these bets, on Friday or Saturday. Ryan Wingo, someone to really look at. 52.5 receiving yards seems pretty low. Brandon Inniss, and again, throughout the whole season, another guy you're really going to want to keep an eye on. Max Clare, tight end for Ohio State, you're going to want to keep an eye on him. And then the kickers in this game I really like. Again, whichever one you want to take doesn't really matter that much. So these are just some of the guys I'm looking at, early bets on this game if you want to take these player props or something similar with these guys. But again, those are the 4 plays I'm liking right now for this game. In Texas, by the way, is my prediction to win this game. I think they'll probably win by a field goal. It's going to be super close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. Obviously, it should be a really close game. Should come down to the wire. So I'm just excited to finally get some good college football back. I'm taking Texas by a field goal in this game, but who knows? I'm just so excited. We actually have real games. Week 0 was fine. It was cool. But week 1 is going to be a lot better. So again, before we get out of here, make sure to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below, by the way, if you like these early videos. I'll kind of try to make them every week for like the biggest upcoming game. I'll make an early video for if you guys like them. But before we get out here, I will remind you guys one more time, use promo code GHOST. You get $100 on Sleeper, $100 on Parlay Play, and a free square on Sleeper as well, which is really cool. And then if you want a free month of VIP where you get extra slips every single day for the college football and NFL season, just let me know in the comments that you used the code. That way I can find you, and then I'll send you a link to a free month of VIP. But if you don't want the free month of VIP, still totally get it. Just go ahead, take your $100 on each one of these apps when you use code GHOST. Those links are all down below. With that being said, these are the plays that I'm liking so far for this game on Saturday. Good luck with all your bets, and I'll catch you next video.